Hello everyone, it's JV back again, and in this vlog, we are going to have another episode of What's Your Pre-Med? So in this episode, we are going to have one of my closest friends in medical school talk about one of the most common pre-med track in UP Diliman. Hi Gareth!
Hi, JV!
So before we start, introduce yourself muna.
I'm Gareth Luby Sacramento, first year medical student from St. Luke's Medical Center, College of Medicine, William H. Quasha Memorial.
Okay, so we are going to start with the pre-med questions now. So the first question is basically basic, ganyan. So what is your pre-med and saan ka nag-pre-med?
I'm a graduate of BS Community Nutrition from the University of Philippines, Diliman, and I'm now a registered nutritionist dietitian. Ooh.
So what is the most common track for your course if not med?
In my batch, 50% of us went to med, so actually a lot of people go to med. And then the other half work in the government as nutritionist dietitians. Others go to the hospital working in the nutrition and dietary services, while others go to food service establishments as managers, chefs, etc. like that. There are a lot of career opportunities in my course.
Okay, so did you know that you were gonna go to med now when you entered the course?
Personally, yeah. My coming into college, I said to myself, whatever course I go into, kahit ano pa yan, kahit maging engineering yan, political science pa yan, I'll be going into med kasi lifelong dream ko maging doctor talaga. So ever since a child, my mind was set to go to med.
Okay, so why did you choose the course then as a pre-med?
Funny story, actually, I was supposed to go to BS Bio in Ateneo. But destiny had its way, and a few conversations with some doctors, some family friends, I eventually was convinced to take up UP Diliman. So I was actually DPWAS, a degree program with available slot. And then I wasn't even gonna reserve my slot because I already paid for the fees in Ateneo. And then my friend messaged me before the deadline for reserving slots was for UP Diliman. And told me, why don't you just reserve? It's free lang naman compared to other universities. I was like, I mean, sure, it's free, so why not? And then he suggested community nutrition. And then I said, okay, I'll take community nutrition. And 6 years after, I graduated community nutrition, and I'm now here in St. Luke's.
Eto, medyo med interview-ish question siya. Why did you go to med?
It's more of a personal thing that really pushed me. My mom wanted to go into med, but she never had the financial capability before to pursue the profession. So I guess it's my way. She's a single mom, so I really owed a lot to her up to right now. So everything I want to do to please her, to make her happy. So that's why I pursued med. So in a way, I can give back to her and pursue the dream that she wasn't able to achieve.
Grabe naman, nakakaiyak! Anyways, okay, so very touched naman ako dun sa story mo. Okay, eto, how did your course help you in your med application naman? So, med application muna ha?
Actually kind of hard because our course had a lot of physical activities requirements. So a lot of times we were out in the field, community nutrition. So we're in the community doing different activities. So we really had to find time where we can apply for NMAT, get the necessary documents. But I'm thankful for the professors I had because they listened to our needs. So we would just ask them they just needed us to ask for their help, and then they would give us time naman if we needed help for such activities, for applying for med.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the advantages of ComNut naman as a pre-med.
Mm-hmm. Advantages, there are some, I guess I can list down. So speaking as a first year medical student, a lot of my courses, a lot of the CRN curriculum actually includes a lot of courses that talks about or gives you background information on different subjects. So we have anatomy and physiology, we have biology, so you can relate that to histology in first year medicals in first year. And we have a lot of different courses related to public health nutrition. So in terms of preventive medicine, which is our public health course in the first year, it really gives you a good solid background naman, a base and foundation for first year. But siguro the subject that I had the most appreciation or that most solid foundation was biochemistry, because in nutrition, the nutrients, the vitamins, minerals, etc., they have a lot of biochemical mechanisms. So coming into first into biochemistry, it's not that I knew naman about the different biochemical pathways of the body, but the way to study and the way to attack these lectures, these concepts, was siguro a bit easier for me, or I had a easier time or faster time to understand, and siguro I had more efficient and effective ways to study these concepts. So I guess I had a more solid background coming to biochemistry, not in terms of the knowledge, but in the skills needed to study the subject. And then, aside from knowledge, the practical skills in community nutrition that is given to you and you develop throughout the 4 years in college is one of the most important advantages for me personally. Patient interviews are one of the things that we do a lot in undergrad. So, in first year, wala pa namang masyadong patient encounters in St. Luke's, pero we had naman. Pero yun, the knowledge, the skill to conduct proper patient interviews, yung decorum, you're less shy, you're more mindful of the way you talk to your patients, and then how to avoid causing bias, you know what questions to ask, how to ask them, how to avoid leading questions, how to avoid questions that will cause the patient to change their answer is one of the things that I learned. Another practical skills are anthropometric measurement taking. So I didn't really use it naman, pero it's there. And then nutrient calculations. In first year we had some topics on nutrition. So that was kind of, fly na lang. And then, diba? And then, another advantage siguro yung experience talaga eh. Kasi in CN, first or second year mo pa lang may out of the classroom experiences ka na. So you're not just theoretical, you're not just didactic way of learning. You have a lot of on-the-field experiences that you get throughout your stay in the course. So one of the main activities in my course was in our 4th year in the terminal SEM. We go to a community or a barangay in a rural setting. So I went to Cavite, and then we worked with the public health with the LGU, and then after that we worked naman in a hospital. So you see the experience of working in a public health setting and then a hospital setting naman. So dun mo talaga makikita yung difference ng interventions, the methods that the health practitioners do, and then comparing the hospital and then the public health setting. So you really appreciate the difference and how the interventions are geared towards therapeutic or preventative measures, and then yung curative or yung cure, diba? Yung interventions towards curing a patient and preventing disease. So that experience talaga will give you a glimpse or a good perspective on the world of health and medicine. Kasi you're not just seeing one side, you're seeing both sides of health. And then I said na parang, diba, we went to the hospital and then we actually talked to doctors in formulating plans, dietary modifications to be given a patient. And then one highlight of the course for me was I was able to write on a chart and then give the recommendations for patients with renal kidney disease. So what changes in their diet. So, diba, chart taking, nasa undergrad ka pa lang. So, akala mo, it gives you a good experience that you can use in med. And then, yun, for public health naman, we actually were able to work with an LGU. We formulated plans, creating programs designed to address the needs of a certain barangay. We went to different barangays, give nutrition education sessions, develop lectures, activities for different target groups, for elderly, for young, for pregnant mothers, lactating mothers. And then we learned and then our goal for giving those lectures were to modify their practices, their behaviors, attitudes, and knowledge to more positive or beneficial ones. So I'm sure JB would know this in preventive medicine. This is a key concept that is taught to us, that medical education or health education, one of its goals is for behavior modification. So in nutrition, parang yun, you're given a practical and actual demonstration. It's not just pure theory, you're actually putting it into practice. So it's easier to appreciate. And then other siguro experiences includes managing a restaurant, food service establishments, which siguro those skills can be helpful depending on the medical school that you pursue. So diba, the business side, the management side, or the course, or the what kind of doctor you want to be. And then siguro lastly, board. Yun, we have a board examination. So siguro it's not the actual me being a licensed professional or a licensed a registered dietitian that's the advantage of the course, but it's a training for you before medical school to establish the techniques on how to effectively and efficiently study. Kasi parang 2 months lang ata binigay sa amin. So yun, parang you'll learn and develop study habits on how to study given a short amount of time, which will be super helpful in the long run naman. You can use when you become a medical student. Siguro yun naman yung na-appreciate ko for my course, advantages as first year medical student.
Grabe, sobrang daming advantages ng CN. Feeling ko like everyone's gonna go to CN na after matadala yung video na to. Okay, so since you've talked about a lot of advantages, if there are any, can you talk about then yung mga disadvantages din siguro ng course, if there are any?
Oh, yeah. Disadvantages. I guess I'm speaking for myself, but this may reflect onto different courses din naman. But I guess there are no disadvantage naman talaga depend on whatever course you take naman. So siguro what I'll say are personal problems that I had or experienced during med that I wish I developed during my course or my undergraduate years. And then siguro what I did to address these personal disadvantages that I had with the course. So if ever naman you guys are in med na, just don't compare yourself na lang with other courses kasi I'm sure everyone has their own set of advantages and disadvantages. So it's really on how you will be using this to your advantage in the end. So yun, parang one problem I had during my first year was yung some subjects in med like histology, anatomy, physiology, super hard talaga for me. Kasi I mentioned na we had those courses pero parang alam mo yung surface level lang talaga yung na-tackle niya nung undergrad compared to med. Kasi in med talagang iba talaga. Talagang tip of the iceberg lang talaga yung alam ko coming into med. And I thought na I had a good solid foundation na. Tapos parang when I entered med, grabe, ang dami palang ina-appreciate kung pang different structures. For like anatomy, like in undergrad, we talked about the liver, ganun. Tapos apparently may 8 lobes yung liver, may hepatic biliary tree, yung hepatic tree, super surface level lang yung knowledge that I thought I had coming into medical school. So yun, kasi probably this is because I only had 1 sem to study them nung undergrad, and in med you have 1 year to study yung anatomy, physiology, ganun. But the coverage talaga is really intense. Siguro yung 1 sem ko na anatomy in undergrad was 1 week, like no joke, 1 week lang or 2 weeks nung in med school. So talagang mafe-feel mo na teka lang, bakit ganito? And then, ayun, going to class, there were a lot of times when I felt inadequate because, alam mo yung na-lecturean ka na, tapos mafe-feel mo na hindi mo ma-recall or super slight memory ka lang meron. So, may anxiety na feeling na, kaya ko ba to? Parang, kakayanin ko ba med? Naaral ko na nga to, pero hindi ko naman siya maalala lahat. So, what I did was yung whatever knowledge I got from CN, whatever techniques I had, whatever experiences I had, I used it to boost or reinforce the lessons I had in med. So, in anatomy, in anatomy, histology, yung mga subjects na yun, I recognized yung personal shortcomings ko. So, the way I attacked the lessons was the way I attacked the lessons I had in undergrad. So, those were the ways that helped me to study. So, to study effectively nga and efficiently. And then, siguro yung main issue ko talaga is yung jack of all trades, master of none. So, I mentioned na I had all of these different courses, ganyan. Pero surface level lang talaga yung alam mo. Compared to some of my classmates na alam lahat ng anatomy, alam lahat ng physiology, alam lahat ng biochemistry, yung mga biochemistry graduates. You'll feel talaga na akala mo hindi ka na-equipped masyado. Weird kasi nga, I told you na wag mo i-compare sarili mo to your classmates. Pero you can't help naman. Pero this was a realization that I had. So, you know, what I did, double time talaga. Sacrifice lang talaga yung leisure activities, yung I love playing video games, I love watching anime. Pero yun, ganun talaga, I want to become a great doctor kasi. So, I owe it to my future patients that I give them only the best I can offer. So, sacrifice lang talaga. So, yun. It sounds medyo cheesy, medyo intangible. Pero yun nga, it's a personal, these disadvantages naman are personal problems and yung realizations that I had. And then, siguro, a more tangible disadvantage na lang of CN for med is wala kaming physics. So, for NMAT, yun, medyo may backlog ka doon coming into NMAT. Pero, yun nga, like what I said, double time na lang when it came to studying for NMAT. And strangely enough, physics yung highest kong subject sa NMAT.
Totoo ba? Actually, nasagot mo na rin yung next na question, which was like, how did you handle these disadvantages? So, we can skip that question. The next question would be, how do you see yourself in med school as compared to other pre-med?
I don't want to say naman na CN is weaker compared to other pre-meds or CN is better naman compared to other pre-meds. Pero, I guess it's, how do I say this? CN as a pre-med will equip you na lang with experiences talaga na, I guess, not other courses can provide. And if you're that kind of learner, yung very important yung experiences, I guess you'll have more appreciation for the course in that regard.
Okay. So second to the last question, would you recommend CN as a pre-med? Would you recommend CN?
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. So last question is not actually a question, but like a message to aspiring medical students na who are currently taking CN, or for those na hindi na rin nagsi-CN, just a general message to those who are aiming to get into med school.
Future doctors that are in undergraduate or even in high school right now who are planning to become doctors, use that passion, use that drive, that motivation to help you get through whatever obstacle will come to your way. Kasi trust me, super dami talagang problems na ma-encounter mo during high school, during college, leading to you becoming a doctor. But if you have that passion, that drive, that motivation to become a doctor, and not only become a doctor, but to serve the people who need to become, the people who need access to healthcare, the people who need your services, the people who would otherwise die if there weren't doctors serving the country, you would realize that these problems are just temporary, and that in the end, what benefits, what rewards you will show will be better. So use that drive, don't lose that passion to serve, and then you'll get there. We'll all get there soon enough.
Okay, thank you so much, Garrett. That's very informative.
Thank you.
So we want to thank Gareth for being with us tonight and sharing his thoughts about community nutrition as a pre-med course. So if you guys have questions, comments, suggestions, or anything about community nutrition or medical school, please comment them down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more What's Your Pre-Med episode. Thank you guys. Bye, years.